There comes a time when each and every one of us has to look in the mirror and ask ourselves, is it in me? Do I have what it takes? But for these players, the time for questions is over. Today is the day when they have to walk out on stage and take what's yours.
Muhammad Light still in that upper bracket. Riley, though, one of those big surprises was. And then in the lower bracket, we still have Sub chugging along, as well as Lucas.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense, but it's really just going to come down to this matchup. It looks like, as you mentioned, bait being super popular, Lucas deciding to do it right away. We talked to Lucas, Andrew and I, before the tournament, and he did say that he wants to play bait to try and force out mistakes from his opponent. And it makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of nerves on this stage. You have to defend each Goblin Barrel and each Dark Goblin, each Princess perfectly if you want to win. But look at Sub's deck, Josh.
Yeah, Sub gonna be running the Royal Hogs, quick cycle. And yeah, I mean, the delivery plus the log plus, I mean, it's probably gonna be Skelly's and Ice Spirit. He's going to be able to stop these barrels very quickly. But I mean, bait, once you have that Goblin Stein up on the board, the 3-card cycle, you can out-cycle the log plus the delivery. They have all these cheap cards, and you will still get barrels on the towers.
Yeah, that's a good point. If there is any deck that's going to be extremely successful, it's this Pig's deck right here with the log and the delivery. But you can see Sub shaking his head already. Maybe Lucas is right. Maybe this deck, the nerves, are going to make the big difference here. Already taking quite a few Goblin Barrel hits.
And right there, defending with the Goblin Gang as well. Earthquake on top of it, and the tower as well, getting it down to 27-74. Slight lead for Lucas so far. Skelly's to help out and start to chain quickly. But Sub going to respond very well. But it does look like a little bit of trickle damage coming in from the Doctors.
Princess on the board. You can see Lucas down a little bit of elixir, but it's not set in stone here because Sub has to respond to this Princess somehow. He goes for the delivery. Now everything's even up pretty similarly. I mean, I just don't know how Lucas wins this, though. I mean, I'm just trying to think of a way. Without that rocket, it seems very difficult.
It does seem difficult, but we always see with these cannons plus Ice Spirit or cannons plus Skellies, you can get those pro plays where they try and get the Royal Hogs plus the Earthquake on top of everything, but then you push it right there. Not going to push, but just going to defend with the Doctor plus Skellies, taking 500 damage, but overall, pretty clean defense, I would say.
Delivery dropping down, cleaning up the Goblin Barrel. Queen and Goblin Stein still on the board, but the Goblin Stein goes down. That means Sub has 3-card cycle. He goes to the log to try and cycle back the log quickly, but Evil Barrel coming in, getting solid damage, and the Queen gets taken out as well.
And right here, we finally see the Evo Skellies against Evo Skellies, both of them just gonna kind of, I mean, really, it's a neutral situation right there. And Sub, I really like what he was trying to do, trying to go the delivery on top of the Princess. Lucas, too smart for that, knocking a Princess at the bridge once again. I mean, until now,
yeah.
he knows Lucas loves these bridge Princesses.
Log should be back in cycle for this barrel. And once again, the Queen is going to survive here. Sub is definitely going to go for some piggies soon to make use of that 3-card cycle. Maybe a pre-Earthquake on the cannon as well. There's the pre-Earthquake, but Lucas knows that the pre-Earthquake is coming. He predicts the prediction, if you will, and stop the pigs. But look at the Queen left side.
Archer Queen getting shot after shot, getting the tower down to 20-36. Both towers for Lucas taking a beating, but I mean, it's still a very close game. Dark Goblin outside of the range of the Crown Tower, so going to be able to take out the cannon entirely. And Archer Queen at the bridge, I mean, this is going to put in a ton of work right here.
Delivery on one side, log on the other. Evo Skellies get taken out immediately, and the Goblin Sign ability is doing massive damage for Lucas.
Right there, completely flipping the energy of the arena, getting the tower down to 1502. Ice Spirit plus Earthquake. And I mean, Sub is recognizing my opponent has no spell, has no big spell whatsoever. If I defend cleanly, I should be able to win. It's just going to be whether or not Lucas is going to force out errors from his opponent.
This is fascinating. Full defense, no pigs at all. Can he have the perfect defense? That is the question. Will he be able to stop the bait spam? Evo Goblin Barrel inbound. Skelly's one side, log the other. Decent damage defense.
And right there, Princess plus Dark Goblin. Dark Goblin does stay alive, not hit by the Royal Delivery. Log on defense from Sub. Any of the Goblin gang picked up. 2 of the Spirit Goblins still alive. Princess at the bridge. 14 seconds left. Lucas needs to figure out something quickly.
Dark Goblin at the bridge. Goblin barrels here.
Look at the Dark Goblin.
The Dark Goblin versus Earthquake.
11-28, 12-12. The Dark Goblin did it. Earthquake coming in. Left in. Lucas gets it.
Earthquake down at the last second.
Oh my goodness. Game 1 of day 3 and we're already getting this. Thank you. I just want to say how grateful I am to be here because this has been wonderful. Deck 1 for both of these players. Lucas going the no spell bait.
I think this is the 3rd time now that he has lost the first game of a best of 3. The question is, can he do it again? Can he reverse sweep and get a couple more wins to secure himself a continuation in this World Finals?
Lucas cycling the Zap, plus the Minor Sub going with the Skeleton Dragons so far throughout this tournament. As soon as you see the Skeleton Dragons, as soon as you see the cage, you figure it's probably going to be Lava. Lucas on the other side. I mean, is it Loon? We see a chuckle, we see a smile. Is this exactly what Lucas was hoping for?
I think it might be. It looks like he's playing...
Is he pumped?
I think he's playing Pompeo Balloon. I saw him on his Royal API. He likes to use it. And he has the Inferno Dragon for the Lava Hound. That's why Lucas is smiling here. This is a Pompeo Loon versus a Lava Balloon, I believe. This is a very fascinating matchup.
Pompeo in the crowd. Let's see if you can make him proud. Gob Cage on defense for Sub, going to be able to easily kite the balloon. But because of the left tower targeting that Inferno Dragon for even just a second, that's going to apply a bunch of pressure and arrows forced out from Sub.
Ice Golem with the bridge in front of the Mega Minion just to tank a little bit, try and force out some sort of response. Miner's well to tank for the Mega Minion, just a little bit of a push, but it does require a hefty response. I like how Lucas just took advantage of this opportunity because he knows that Lava is not built for those cheap defenses, forcing out lots of elixir from Sub and getting good damage.
Yeah, I mean, Ice Golem basically becomes that kind of like 3rd win condition because you're always forcing out either the bomber or the guards, otherwise it's going to chip away at the tower, get 400 HP worth of damage, and Lucas's defenses are always going to be relatively easy. The Inferno Dragon is going to clean up the lavas. It's just whether or not he can defend before Sub gets those lightnings out. And no, it's going to be Fireball, and that's a value Fireball catching the Mega Minion.
A really good Fireball and not the best zap from Lucas there, dropping on almost nothing. I think he was trying to time it to zap all the Lava Pups, but he was not expecting that Fireball to reset his Inferno Dragon, and it just changed up everything.
And right there, Lucas probably going to set himself up with the Ice Golem in front. No Ice Golem Miner in the back. Hopefully, instead, just going in with the Fireball. Evo Zap going to come down, but didn't catch the Bomber on the first electrocution, so that Bomber stays alive.
This balloon, the balloon will not connect. Arrows do come down, but it does get death damage. And sometimes that's what Pompeo Balloon is all about. Sometimes you're just continually cycling those balloons, getting that death damage, and resetting for the defense.
Cycling the Inferno Dragon, you want them on the board. It's not always just Inferno Dragon on top of the lava. You're just trying to get as many of them up as you can. Sub responding with his own Inferno Dragon right there. Guards to protect it. And the Inferno Dragon for Sub locks onto the balloon. So far, it's a good defense, but he still needs more.
Yeah, and this is what I mean. Lava Hound is not built for these defenses. A lot of the time, you want to go for a dual lane or opposite lane pressure and tower trade, but that's not something that is an opportunity in overtime.
Yeah, and Sub making mistakes after mistakes. Lucas already clapping his hands. He thinks this game is over. The Miner takes out the Bomber entirely. Good game coming out from Sub. Lucas with the 2-0. Sub did not have enough small troops to defend those Ice Golems. That Ice Golem really became that 3rd win card.
Yeah, and it all comes down to Lucas setting the pace of the match. He was always applying pressure, and Lava is not built for that, and it seemed like Sub really went along with that motion.
Yeah, and let's take a look at our bracket so far. And right there, we just saw the match between Lucas and Sub. Lucas going 2-0. And up next, we got Mo and Riley.
Just going into game 1, I imagine if we get into game 3, it will be silent in this room. Ice Spirit to start for Riley, and Mo with the Princess at the bridge.
Princess stopping the Ice Spear in its tracks, getting a little bit of chip damage on top of the tower, plus the log. And Riley could be going back to the minor Marcher. Yeah, that deck has been really, really solid this weekend.
And looking like it, seeing the Evo Knight come out here. Evo Knight plus Evo Ice Spirit. Ice Spirit, one of the strongest defensive Evos in the game as that Magic Archer comes down in the back. And what's really fascinating about this matchup is there is no big spell for Mohamed Light. So how do you take care of the Magic Archers that Riley's going to place? And if a Magic Archer does ever get a connection at the bridge, how do you stop it?
And Mo-Light, the way he just kind of carries himself, Riley, we heard it in the interview where, oh, how'd you know you were going to win? Well, when he played the first Goblin Barrel with Mo, he played the Goblin Barrel, no smile, no look up, no nothing. Riley just locked in and focused.
And Riley does have the Tesla. You can see there, Mo not happy about something. Not exactly sure if it was the placement or what, but doesn't get a lot out of it. Goblinstein does get on tower, not going to go for the ability. 21-62 to two very healthy towers for Mohamed Light.
Yeah, it really felt like Riley got a value log, was able to get the Goblin Barrel plus a little bit of damage on top of the Doctor and the Dark Goblin, and still his tower just lost 850 HP. Everything that could go right went right, and he still got tons of damage.
Oh! And the NATO doesn't kill all the skellies. And both of them surprised by this interaction because it should have done it. Now log has to be used on the right-hand side. Goblins to the real goblins to the left, and a great connection from Mohamed Light.
Dark Goblin getting chip damage on chip damage, getting the tower down to 2048, and that is a tough interaction to happen to you. You see it once a month, and people are complaining on Twitter. There's no time to complain. You just have to focus up and recenter yourself.
Exactly. You see Riley kind of shaking his head there. He's played through adversity so far in this tournament. Again, I've said this on stage, off stage, probably too much. Memory of a goldfish, and Riley needs to move on past this and just recognize a little mistake early on against Bait doesn't mean the game's over.
And right there, defending cleanly with the Ice Spear, but Mohamed Light 2 steps ahead, getting the Princess chip damage. And Riley going to respond with his Magic Archer of his own, finally getting just a little bit of damage on that left side.
Yeah, what a brilliant play by Mohamed Light. He goes barrel to the side knowing troops are going to come out, then goes Princess to the bridge knowing those troops are going to get on top, or going to get, the Princess is going to get on top of those troops for just a little bit more chip damage. And that's what we talk about him just thinking 85 steps in the future.
Yeah, and these Princesses are scary. Ice Spear able to make the full-on jump. NATO is going to stop him for a second, but still going to get 2 stabs on top of the tower.
1922, 1821. Mo's lowest tower is 2686. This game is about as clean as it can get for the Pharaoh.
And right there, Magic Archer not doing its job. Princess on the left, fully staying alive. Log should be able to stop nothing because the Princess stops walking.
Mo looking for something with that. Log doesn't hit it, but the tower, 1763. Another Princess comes down. Magic Archer to snipe. Nice placement there from Riley.
And it's clear that Riley has a lot of practice in this because bridge Teslas are exactly how you want to win this. And Mo, again, stopping. Every time Riley thinks he's one step ahead, it's just not the case. Mo protecting everything beautifully.
I mean, this is the Mohamed Light effect in full force. Doctor getting more damage on that left-hand tower. Evo Skelly's popping off on the right. Magic Archer comes down. Wow.
Perfect defense right there. Log taking out fully the right side.
Wow.
And Princess, oh my goodness.
On the predict. Knowing spears are going to come out, he places the Princess a few tiles away from the bridge, and that is just next level, AC.
And right there, great timing from the Doctor with Mohamed Light. Ice Spirit not going to be enough to take out the Dark Goblin just yet. Getting a little bit of value on top of the Knight, and will that third take it out? And it does. But Mo Light, I know that next card that's coming down, it's going to be a Princess.
NATO in, Miner in, barrel to the right-hand side. Princess up high, nice catch. 1286, 1287 are Riley's 2 towers.
Man, this is peak Clash Royale. 30 seconds left, Log coming down on the left, NATO on the right. 2 Princesses, Dark Goblin, 2 Dark Goblins, Doctor up. What is Riley going to do?
Look at this map domination now. Barrel on the left-hand side. Riley knows it's over. And Mo has won game number 1.
Let's take a look at the decks from the both of the players. And yes, I mean, it's only the Log coming in for Mohamed Light, so he has to get that chip damage. Riley played such a good game.
Mo going mortar. Mo maybe going mortar, cannoneer. Everybody be quiet.
All right, I'll be taking over this game.
Evo Bats plus Miner plus Cannoneer. Wow, and he's going back to before Gobstein. He might be going Cannon Cart plus Skeleton King. This was actually pretty popular for a minute. Right after Gobstein got released.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier. It feels like we're not really seeing Wizard all that often, and it's because of how strong the Goblinstein is. But Riley kind of going away from everything and just putting the Goblinstein in the same deck as the Wizard.
And Zappy's there, and this is such a fascinating construction of this deck, AC. You can see Riley going, what are those Zappies doing in this deck? Now you have the Mortar, you have the Cannoneer once the wheels fall off, you have the Zappies to stun and slow this Ram Rider, and this is a lot of trouble, an uphill battle, if you will, for Riley.
Yeah, perfect timing right there. Ghost gets that one swing on top of the 0.5 HP cannon. Cart, there we go,
there
cannon cart, and right there, Riley gonna set up with the P.E.K.K.A, and I think that's what you gotta do. You need to set up your P.E.K.K.As in order to have a shot.
And what's going to be also very interesting about this matchup is if those Evo bats do pop off, that Rage will not be enough to take care of them. Obviously, the Goblinstein ability will, and so will the Wizard. But the normal response to bats in the E-Spirit and that Rage will not be enough.
So Riley just kind of letting his P.E.K.K.A go to waste.
I think Mo was trying to go for the King Tower activation there. If the Mortar stayed alive and the E-Spirit jumped, just a little bit of flair, you know. He was like, did I not show you enough in game one?
Ah, you want more? Okay, I can deliver. And right there, value arrows, and right there,
wow.
Any of the Zappies on top, they stop the Ram Rider dead in its tracks.
The density of the Skeleton King there, just completely blocking up the lane. I mean, it's something that we don't talk about a ton in Clash Royale, but the density of units, the thickness, if you will, that's the 2 C's thick, will stop them at the bridge or stop them as they're charging.
P.E.K.K.A trying to go to work, not going to be the case, and it almost takes out the cannon cart. Instead, it gets, just starts going for the skellies, and the P.E.K.K.A's still alive somehow, but so is the cannon cart. The cannon cart's still kind of healthy.
The Zappy's resetting it. Now he goes Skeleton King opposite lane. Gonna have a bunch of souls there. Mo sitting there pumping his fist. He knows this game is on the line right now. Riley's low in elixir.
Yeah, he's going to probably activate the king.
What's he gonna do?
He has nothing.
That cannon cart is still alive opposite lane.
The bats are going to be able to come behind, and the arrows miss.
The cannon's on.
Game.
The cannon's on. Wow, Mortar's on. That is going to do it. Riley's still fighting. 813 HP remains.
Zappies are going to stop the Doctor from resetting the Mortar. The Mortar getting a second shot. Doctor doing all it can do. Miner in the back gets caught by the Ram Rider, but that's really not going to be enough. You need offense, and you just can't do that against Muhammad Light.
Muhammad Light pouring it on right now that Riley is fighting for his life. Not even making the right defensive play. He's making the only defensive play.
Cannon cart at the bridge, followed by the bats. E-Spirit going to be able to dash on top of everything. But I mean, Muhammad Light, he's known for his spectacular defense. How do you how do you come back against him?
I don't think you can, AC. I mean, regardless of anything, he can defend his way out. Skeleton King's on top of that tower. He can still send miners in for the next 70-ish seconds. Bats are gonna get a ton of value here. And there you go. Rage in the corner. Riley knows it's over. Muhammad Light, perfect in this upper finals.
Cannon cart going to be able to take out the P.E.K.K.A. And again, these just are such incredibly strong pushes. Miner in front of Goblin Game. That's not a push. He just finds the answers that nobody else finds.
Miner to the back. Evo P.E.K.K.A to clean. Arrows to get the Gob Gang. Riley's still alive. Evo Mortar opposite lane.
And that's going to be, that's going to be a strong defense right there. Okay, he's recovering.
He hasn't given up yet. You have to admire it as the Miner goes in to pull the P.E.K.K.A back, and that is just a beautiful play. Mo knows exactly what was going to come down that lane.
Getting a little bit of chip damage on top of the tower is the Wizard for Riley. And finally, we see him start to build these big pushes. We see him jump for joy. Good game coming out from Mo. Mo takes it 2-0.
Muhammad Light will be back in our CRL 2024 Grand Finals.
Mo, on the other hand, this is what we've been waiting for, because even the year that he won it, it was still like, oh, lower bracket, there's still questions. This year, it's unequivocally him.
Well, and then you listen to him talk in that interview, and again, speaking with Lucas before that first match of the day.
On the right.
Let's take a look at our bracket to see how we got here and what remains. The other thing we have to talk about are the MVP Zappies. I mean, where did those come from? Why were they there? I'm so happy to see that's